The Magical Lost Brocade's genre is folktale. What is a folktale? Well, it's a fictional story passed on from generation to generation. Here are some more characteristics. The hero often goes on a quest or faces a challenge in order to accomplish a goal, like Ping did when he promised his mother he would find the brocade. It may include magical settings, situations, or characters, like the princess, when she sent the wind to take the brocade to the castle. It includes a lesson or reflects a universal theme, like the lesson Ping learned that if he set his mind to it and put a plan, he could accomplish his goal. Rule of three. Items happen in sets of three or sevens. Things happen in threes, like three characters, three events, or three tests the character must overcome. Remember, it took Ping's mother 3 years to make the bouquet, and Ping had to do three different challenges in order to get to the castle. Analogies were taken this week also. What are analogies? Well, A is to B as C is to D. What does that mean? A is replaced by a word, B is replaced by a word, C is replaced by a word, and D must be deduced by students. Let's take an example. Sword is to a warrior as pen is to a writer. We have to look at the similarities between the first two words and the second two words. The relationship between A and B, or sword and warrior, must be equal to the relationship between pen and writer, or C and D. Let's take a closer look. Sword is to a warrior. Well, thinking about it, a warrior cannot fight or do his job without his sword, and a writer cannot write without his pen. So the relationship here is the same, even though the words sword and warrior don't have a relationship with pen and writing. Now let's look at the words number 1 and use the vocabulary words above to help solve. After is to later, as before is to previous would be the best answer here, since after and later mean have similar meanings, and before and previous also have similar meanings. So this type of an analogy uses synonyms. Number 2, upsetting is to supporting, as worrying is to assuring. Now here, upsetting and supporting are opposites, and worrying and assuring are also opposites. Let's be reminded that analogies show the relationship between two words to compare to another group of two words. Enormous is to large, as chase is to pursuit. Enormous and large have the same meaning, and chase also means to pursue. Joyful is to cheerful, as leadership is to guidance. Fake is to realistic, as unthankful is to gratitude. Hidden is to invisible, as noticed is to detected. Test is to score, as election is to outcome. Straightforward is to secret, as hiding is to emerging. Identify the words that show personification and explain the thing described. What is personification? Personification is giving human qualities to non-human objects. It's like making the wall come to life by saying it talks. For example, the sun played peekaboo with the clouds. Can the sun play? No, but personification gives us a way to help the reader imagine or visualize how the sun is moving behind the clouds. Let's look at the first sentence. When the word, this should be the world. When the world was young, a long river wandered through a large forest. Here, the river wandering is the personification. I see the river curving and winding through the forest after reading this. I can imagine it. Let's do number 2. The river offered its water freely to anyone who needed it. Offering water is something that a river really doesn't do. A person can offer water, but I imagine that the river has hands that reach out to give water to those who need it. Number 3. The more the moose drank, the more the water retreated. Does water retreat? What do they mean here? I picture the river backing away from the moose. The river hurried to fill the holes. Can the river hurry? I imagine the river with a bucket of water rushing to fill the holes. Soon mud was grabbing at the moose's feet. Does mud grab? I imagine the mud sucking at the moose's feet. Can you think of some more personification or make your own? We took spelling rules along vowels. Here are some of the rules that we took. IGH makes the long vowel I sound, like in light. A single E at the end makes the long E sound. The double E makes the long E sound. The double O letters usually make the long U sound. EW makes U. A single Y at the end makes a long I sound. The double O letters make the long U sound. When two vowels are together, the first one makes the long vowel sound, like in rain, AI, meet, EA, suit, UI, dial, IA, boat, OA. Usually when we have two vowels together, we take the long vowel sound of the first letter, of the first vowel letter. EIGH makes long vowel A sound, like in way. OW makes long O sound, like in flow. Here are some words that show when you add E to the end of the sentence, you get a long vowel sound. Tame, cute, taste, rake, road, take. Long A can be seen in these types of patterns where we have a letter, A, another letter, and E. The letter in between is usually a consonant. AY makes long A, AI makes long A, EIGH makes long A. Long A can be seen by E, double E, or EA. Long I can be heard as an I, E, IA, Y, IGH. Long O similarly, OE, OA, OW. Long U can be made with UE, UI, double O, and E. Spelling words we took were paste, read, spice, toe, bride, shave, plead, greet, keep, paid, coach, theme, type, oak, growth, yoke, folks, aim, pray, and grind. Can you find the compound predicate here? Mother mopped and scrubbed the kitchen floor. Mopped and scrubbed are the compound predicates.